Hi, everybody. Welcome to SaaS Founder Stories. My name's David Brennan. Today I have Milan Sanghani, who's the CEO and founder of EdMission with me. Welcome to the show, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you very much, David, for having me today.
Well, thanks for coming on. So a little bit, we're just going to go in. I want you to start off and tell me a little bit about your company, what you guys do, give us a use case, and then we'll start chatting about how you're operating things over there.
For sure, definitely. So, admission, we are basically in international student recruitment space, and we might have been hearing a lot nowadays about the international students, especially in Canada. So, what we do here is we provide all-in-one solution for the universities for the international student recruitment requirements. But on the other hand, at the same time, we are a one-stop solution for the international students who want to study in Canada. So that includes the university shortlisting to the visa process and everything. But here we are talking about today is all about SaaS. So this is basically the SaaS solution for the universities where they can recruit the quality international students by removing the fraudulent activities and fraud agent networks who are actually outside Canada and spamming the immigration system and as well as the university application system as well. So we provide that end-to-end solution without university deploying their resources overseas. So that is basically you just use our software and invite the large pool of the students, whatever the students who is best fit for their programs, they can simply invite from our solution.
Very
So
cool. So how would they just like walk me through, we're a university, how do they implement and what's like, give me some maybe a minute and a half details on how it works.
for sure. So imagine that on our platform, 100 students are applying for 5 different universities in the multiple programs, and I am the university. I have the login portal of admission. So I just simply log into my university portal and see that, okay, this has the 100 students applying from XYZ programs. Now my programs has multiple requirements, and it also differs country wise as well. So I see that from 100 students, these 10 students are the best fit students for our MBA programs or our masters in XYZ programs. So I will be able to, as an administrator, able to invite those 10 potential students who are the best fit for our programs without going anywhere. Right now, university appoints their international representatives and they visits multiple countries for the recruitment efforts and everything. So we are basically bringing a solution that universities don't have to go overseas for student recruitment, because they also have at the same time the cultural and the language barrier as well when it comes to recruit students from the multiple countries. So this
Mhm.
is kind of also the one-stop solution for the universities to recruit international students seamlessly, and it will be directly. On the other hand, student will get notification just like a friend request that, okay, this university is already interested. So if you know student, if I as a student wasting my time for waiting from other universities and see this university is already interested in my profile, I will immediately go for that application and secure my admission with that particular university. Because as an international student, I also have to go through the visa process, education loan process, and everything. It's a long cycle for me. So it's a win-win situation for both the parties, universities and the students. So that how basically the system works.
Very cool, man. I really like that. So when you're selling, one of the interesting things for me is like, who do you sell to? Who's your ideal customer profile?
Yes. So our ideal customers are the universities who are actively recruiting international students, and more recently, the universities are interested in ethical recruitment practices, which is the major concern in Australia, in Canada, and also in US and UK as well. These four are the major markets for international students, and this is a huge issue right now. So this provides the complete transparent process end to end for both the parties and also for the students. Our clients are the students who are looking to have their higher education in US and Canada. So both the sides, we have those ideal customers, the universities who are interested in recruiting international students, and the students who are willing to have their education in US and Canada.
Very cool, man. Well, I'm excited for you guys. Let's jump in like to the part about this, the part about the podcast that I love is digging into the biggest challenge that you guys have solved as a company over the last 6 months. Because, I think the whole purpose of this podcast is for the people that come on to be able to share what they're doing and what they've learned so other SaaS founders can really benefit from that. So what's that for you?
Definitely, for sure. And this is also kind of like one of my favorite question, because the journey from 0 to 1 for an entrepreneur is really, really important. And during that time, an entrepreneur solves the majority of the problem internally, as well as in order to acquire the first customers, right? So for us, securing the public university and partner with them was one of the major concerns. When it comes to the private universities, it's a whole different game. But for any XYZ industry, if you secure certain type of customer, you build that credibility, and that those customers are being used as a reference point to acquire more customers, right? So in our industry, public university partnerships is really, really crucial, and it builds the trust not only among the other university partners, but also from the students and their parents as well. So that was our major challenge, the firstly to acquire or to partner with the public universities. And for that side, we went really lean. As from moving forward from 0 to 1, the finance is also a major consideration, right? So we didn't want to spend a lot of money on marketing, or partnering with the influencers and do some sort of a digital marketing and all those kind of things. So we went pretty lean in terms of that. So when we started working on this idea, I personally interviewed multiple universities across Canada in order to identify the problem and everything. So I used those interviews in order to secure the initial customers, but majority of our partners initially was the private universities. Then I went a little bit beyond that. So I leveraged the events and the conferences, which is kind of a little bit of cost effective, and the major stakeholders participates in those events in the education sector as well. So that was a really, really a great success for us. We developed a lot of relationships with the multiple universities across US and Canada. And then the last one I used the references. So these three basically method only I used so far, without spending a lot of money on the marketing to develop content, maybe the influencer marketing, SEO, digital marketing, and everything. So I didn't do any kind of all those things. I just use the references, initial interviews, and the conferences and events to secure my initial clients. And the last month, we onboarded three public universities altogether, uh, two universities from USA and one Canadian university. So we partnered with three universities last month, and that was a kind of a big relief. But yet, it's just starting, right?
Yeah, I think you touched on something really cool, and I think it's often overlooked in the early days. And to be honest, as you grow it, it's equally as powerful. But those going out and interviewing and talking to your customer, right? Like, and I think it's the number one way to first of all improve your company growth, and but also you get a better product, you build reputation, and when you roll out new features, like it's actually something that we think you do over and over again, right? Like it's not something you just do in the beginning, and if you do it, you can create an incredible flywheel that continually adds customers, continually builds a reputation, and helps your company. So that's super cool. Now, for you guys, if you think about that, the other piece there, how did you use the conventions and trade shows? What was your strategy in them?
Yes. The very specifically, the number one thing that I learned was do the homework first. Take your time, learn about what kind of trade shows and events are going on there, who are the participants in there, how those participants are aligning with our current expectations. Some of the participants might be useful for the long time, or when we scale at that point. But I always focused on the immediate requirement first and see that if it is aligning with our short-term goal first rather than the long-term one, because one step at a time, that the thing that I always follow first. And I see that what universities are partnering, what are the other industry players are partnering as well. I try to also look into the strategic partners where I can acquire the large number of university partners with those strategic partnership as well. So the very first one, as we are still a little bit of early stage, I always focus more on customer acquisition side, because whenever if we are raising pre-seed or seed round, the first thing that investor might care is the customers, right? So I just focus on customer. How can I onboard more customers by participating in this particular trade show or event? Number two is, will there be any investor network that I can from the very beginning develop the relationship, because we cannot close the fundraising right away. So I also look for that opportunity to see that if the investors are also participating, so that I can just start having conversation and build that long-term relationships. So that is my approach. Look into the immediate requirement, go for the strategic approach as well, and see if we can develop the relationships for the investor if they are participating.
Very cool, man. So for you, what's the next 6 months look like? What's the big challenges that you're going to knock off?
Definitely. So we have like two major consideration that we are focusing on for the year of 2025, especially if we talk about not just the immediate 6 months, but like, let's say, a little bit of here and there. Then we want to hit the 25 universities network. That is our first consideration. And the second one is, as we are hitting the Indian market, so with the Indian market, within next 8 to 12 months, we want to hit $1 million in revenue. So that is our major requirement, and at the same time, we are obviously raising pre-seed round.
Hmm.
So that will be the major focus as well, and which could be a little bit of challenge for us. We all know, for entrepreneurs, the fundraising is a little bit challenging.
That's for sure. So just to wrap it up, I think what's one thing that people listening to this show could do to help you? What do you need
Yes.
help with?
So definitely. So I am more looking towards the network of the university or academic area. So we are exclusively looking for one advisor who are familiar with with the U.S. education system, or have the network across U.S. universities. So that would be really fantastic if someone is hearing this and have that network of the people down in USA, then that would be a really fantastic. And we are raising the pre-seed. So obviously, anyone hearing is interested in education and immigration space, please feel free to reach out to me.
Perfect, man. Well, Milan, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing with us what you're doing, and really appreciated it. And have an amazing day.
Thank you very much, David, for having me. Thank you very much.
Bye.